All roads will be leading to Moruleng in Rustenburg in the Northwest Province, where the ANC's historic January 8 statement celebrations will be held. The annual event is used by the over a century-old movement to set out its political program and to map out the directions it plans on taking. It also sets out its key priorities for the year and also reflects on its journey. However, the party has faced major challenges, including being forced to enter into a government of national unity coalition. To discuss those challenges and how they plan to rise again, we have with us political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou. Dr. Ndou, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate it. It's a point of inflection year for the ANC. It could ultimately lose power entirely in most of the main metros in the country, where they've already lost power. In Tshwane, in the city of Johannesburg, we've seen them on a precarious line of contesting power every other year and having to govern there by coalition. Of course, they're precarious in Nelson Mandela Bay as well. And of course, the January 8 statement is an opportunity for them to imagine what the year's program would be like for them and what their key targets and priorities are. What do you think the key targets and priorities should be this year?
Good afternoon, Oliver. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. I think it's important to note that the January 8 of 2026 will be totally different from the other January 8 statements. The reasons are known. The ANC has not performed well in the 2024 general elections. The ANC has not been performing well in the different metros, as you have indicated. But what is also very important for me is that the ANC is going to the Northwest Province, where we're getting a lot of municipalities that are not performing well. Mahikeng, Nakamudiri.
And the list is endless in that province.
Right in the Northwest Province, including Madibeng. 2026 is the year for local government elections. And the very same citizens of those municipalities that are not performing well would love to hear the program of the ANC towards ensuring that their municipalities are performing better, but more, that their lives are changing for the better. And each time when you have to identify municipalities that are not doing well, you always have to know that the Northwest Province is going to be mentioned. So one aspect is that the ANC must talk to service delivery challenges of their municipalities in the Northwest in the year of the local government elections. But number two, the ANC, in my view, must therefore be able to develop a general program that must talk to all the members of the ANC and the ordinary citizens at large in terms of what is it that the ANC has in store for them in 2026. We also do know that the ANC will be going to its policy conference, but the clear areas of priorities in terms of approaching local government elections is one of the issues that the National Executive Committee should be able to outline to the people so that we do know where the ANC stands.
Let's look at some of the case studies of the ANC's attempt at fixing local government, right? If we look at the metros in Johannesburg and in eThekwini, we've seen the introduction of the Presidential National Intervention Task Team, right? They've managed quite well in eThekwini to help stabilize the city there. The jury is still out on whether or not they're seeing similar successes in the city of Johannesburg. And of course, that is a more recent intervention than the eThekwini one. But in the non-metro municipalities, and particularly if we take a look at Ditobotla, they've now taken for the second time under administration Ditobotla local municipality. But this time, it's under national administration, which is, by the way, the first time in our country that we've seen a municipality taken under national administration. Typically, it's taken under provincial administration. And so the intervention seems to be where municipalities fail, we'll step in from a national level and we won't give you the opportunity to fix it from the ground up. Do you think that there would be a tension in how that message lands for the people of Ditobotla or the Northwest when they consider turning around the local government service delivery crisis that we face the countrywide?
There are known challenges that the ANC and citizens at large will be able to attempt to address. One of the biggest challenges that we have in the non-metro municipalities are issues that relates to capacity, both administrative and political capacity. To a certain extent, they've tried or they're trying to deal with the political capacity. Firstly, to talk to the kind of people that they should get as public representatives in terms of the qualifications that are required. And I know that in the statement of the NEC, those are some of the issues that have to be re-emphasized.
Yeah.
The caliber of people that are supposed to be public representatives. But number two, you need to go administratively. You have got a number of municipalities, and not only in the Northwest, across South Africa, where you do not have sufficient capacitated people to run municipalities. And that will talk to poor financial resources. The constituencies that they serve are also poor. There are no resources to service or to provide services. They also cannot be able to attract right people to go and provide services to these municipalities. Those are some of the challenges that they need to be able to talk to. But the unfortunate part is that as you keep on identifying these challenges and talk to those challenges, the communities, on the other hand, are worried that they're not getting the service that they require, and that is the right time for other political parties to talk to these challenges, and when they come in, they will talk the language of trying to solve the problem, and that's where the original or traditional voters will therefore some choose to go with other political parties.
This Jan 8 statement also happens just off of the back of the ANC's NGC, which took place at the tail end of last year. And of course, the succession race, you and I can agree, has well started in the ANC. They will deny it, but you and I know that the succession race has well started in the ANC, and it finds itself in the crosswind of exactly that moment. What is the right tone the president needs to strike in that statement to ensure the ANC voters that it's not going to get ugly?
It's the ability to manage the program of the party, looking at the challenges and trying to solve them, but also at the same time being able to manage issues of succession. I would agree with you. Whether we like it or not, the succession discussion is started. And it's something that comes natural because members of the ANC and their leaders and the ordinary citizens are aware that after every 5 years, the ANC must have new leadership. And if you are in 2026, you know that in 2027, everybody is trying to look and check who therefore could be the new leaders of the party. So they should be able to create that balance between ensuring that they run their programs, also being able to manage succession. And a number of people have started being raised, names are being raised, and whilst the NGC was running, you could start hearing some of the journalists saying, maybe this one is preferred by the so-and-so, and that tells you that succession has started. And when they build up towards the policy conference, that's where we're going to be able to see people positioning themselves, obviously bringing in content discussions that must bring life to the policies of the ANC.
Yeah, and there are still those who will be listening to this Jan 8 statement and receiving the program of action for the year who still doubt whether the ANC should be in the governing coalition that it is. And that seems to be a detraction in the party that hasn't yet dissipated. It seems to be quite palpable and top of mind for many other peoples. Is it important for the president to again address that question?
My view is that immediately after the statement, you need to have the structures of the party, including the leagues, to join the song of these programs, make them alive in the different branches, because it could be useless to just have the statement of the NEC being read at a bigger gathering like this one, and you do not have programs that are created to ensure that such it's actually becoming a reality. So the
programmatically, what does that look like in getting those who haven't yet changed their minds about the coalition arrangement to actually change their mind? What does it look like in a program?
What, in my view, should happen is that the emphasis on the part of the NEC would be to indicate that the coalition, the government of national unity that is formed, was not a plan of the ANC. It was not a creation of the ANC. But in the long run, the manner in which the ANC was running government and how other political parties organized themselves to overthrow the ANC should be blamed for that. But there should be sufficient discussions that must convince those who still do not believe in the current setup that there was no other option, but the option was to go the GNU route.
We had a lower than usual voter turnout in the national elections last year, and typically local government elections have an even lower voter turnout than the national government election does. And the ANC seemingly is struggling to mobilize its members to canvass sufficiently to keep that voter turnout well, and of course to ensure that first-time voters actually turn out and make use of the opportunity. And the Jan 8 statement, where the ANC, of course, will be announcing their elections plan and their campaigning strategy, is important to address the question of mobilization and, of course, getting people to vote and voter turnout in particular. Do you think they are long past the point where they can turn that around?
I think they can, but there is a much bigger challenge. The challenge being the ability by the IEC now to identify the appropriate date for the elections. If you recall, we had the 22 November local government elections. And it will therefore mean that in the 3-month period that the IEC has to look at, we might be moving towards having elections during festive seasons. January cannot be a very good month for elections. November, December is also very much risky, especially when we look at the student population in the country. But also the conditions for elections, especially at local government elections. You vote where you register to vote. Yeah. And the mobility of South Africans in November to January is very, very high. And that has a potential also, in my view, to negatively affect the participation of the voters in the elections. But now that political parties are aware, this could be an opportune time to conscientize their voters in terms of where are they supposed to be and know the disadvantages of not voting for their parties.
Dr. Levy Ndou, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your insights. Really do appreciate it. That is political analyst Dr. Levy.